Hello, my name is Allison Calvary, and I'm going to take you through my Canvas page. Sorry, I'm using my cell phone to do this. So first here we have our objectives. So make that bigger. There we go. Okay, so in here I have my alignment matrix. That's all uploaded where we talk about our different objectives that we're going to be going through. So I was going to be covering second grade literacy, and our learning objectives are to read a story together as a class, and then the student will successfully identify the beginning, middle, and the ending of the story. Student will be able to identify how a character reacted to an event in the story and how that choice affected the story's outcome. And student can identify the beginning, including key points that set the story's events to come, and identify the ending and how the story wrapped itself up. So there's my objectives. Here is my mini lesson. And that's just where I go through and I taught a little lesson there. And then we go into pre-assessment. And now here in my pre-assessment, I have both a document. So if we wanted to do it on paper and have the children connect with lines to whether this happened in the... Sorry, that keeps trying to focus. Anyway, so they can connect lines to whether this event happened in the beginning, the middle, or the ending. And if we didn't want to do it on paper, I also have a link to the Kahoot for this particular one. We can go through, and I've included little pictures from the book as we take the quiz. And that asks similar questions that then directs the students. When does, like this one, when does Pete see the moving truck? And it'll say the beginning, the middle, the end, and then usually a silly answer. And this can kind of help gauge if they understood quickly where that was in the story. There's my pre-assessment. So this one is going to go, we would have the pre-assessment kind of before I've taught anything and just get a baseline of how much do they understand before we've really gone into it very much. And then here we have the formative assessment. This one I said this would take place after I've started teaching the objectives. This point will serve as a check-in to see how everyone is doing. Are there any areas we're struggling or need more help? And in this lesson, I said that we would read the book My No 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 Day. And this would kind of give me like a check-in. How are we doing? Are there any students that need additional help? Is there anything particular that everybody seems to not be understanding that we need to go over? And so I said, we could either break into small groups and have them make kind of like a flow chart with the beginning, the middle, and the end and list things in there. Or I also have a link to a Kahoot again. And this one just kind of does the same thing. I've also included, again, pictures from the book. And kind of checking in with them, like, when was Bella loud at the ballet? You know, did that happen in the beginning, the middle, or the end? And we have our summative assessment. This would be at the end, so we could gauge how much did everybody learn? Have we made improvements? I have a paper version where we would go through and we would answer some questions, as well as in this one, I would also have them maybe draw some pictures from the book about, here we have in the space below, draw a choice that a character made in the story, and in the next box, draw what happened or how the story changed because of that choice. And then I also gave them space to go ahead and write their own story with a beginning, middle, and end. I like that because it would give them some more creativity, as well as letting me gauge by creating their own story how much they understood. Then I also have a fun Kahoot with some similar questions and some different questions. So obviously Doesn't have any drawing or input of theirs, just kind of a brief overview of the book. And at the end, I end it with, how did we feel about this content material? I think that this was really helpful in creating this. I'm not the most tech savvy person, so this was definitely a learning experience, and I definitely think it has somewhere in the class. You know, it definitely has a place in the classroom with our very techie world, and this would give quick results as far as grading and knowing what everyone is doing. I'm sorry about my phone trying to adjust to this.